Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to talk to you about these things, walking poles, and why I think they're an essential item if you're going hiking in general, but certainly if you're going to go backpacking with a heavy pack on your back. Yeah, some of you may have watched my Southwest Coast Path videos and certainly on my wash-up video at the end. I explained that I'm pretty certain I could not have done that whole walk without these things. It's just, they took so much of the stresses and strains out of the equation. So today I'm going to go through A, why I think they're worthwhile, and then B, how to use them properly, because that's one of the problems I see with so many other walkers. I mean, it's good that they use them, don't get me wrong, but they're just not using them properly, and they're not getting the benefits that they should do. So today I'm going to walk you through some of the reasons why I think you should carry or have walking poles. And again, I'll give you some reasons why they might be a bit of a pain. So the advantages of these poles are, well, first of all, it's better posture. I don't know about you, but I certainly with a pack on, I tend to slouch forwards if I've got a heavy pack on. Certainly after a couple of hours walking, it's just natural for you to start to slouch. One of the problems with doing that is that A, you'll create back problems and give yourself backache, but secondly, by slouching forwards, you're not actually able to get enough air into your lungs. So with poles, you tend to stand up a lot straighter and you'll get a lot more air into your lungs. So that's a number one advantage. Second advantage is stability. Fairly self-explanatory, I would have thought, but if you've got an extra set of arms, legs, whatever you want to think, that's got contact with the ground, you've got less likely chance of falling over, haven't you? It just goes without saying, I would have thought, especially in the winter time. You've got slippy, muddy tracks, or even snow and ice. You've just got something extra just to give you that little bit of, as I say, stability or ability just to stop slipping and sliding. Another advantage is propulsion. Certainly going uphill, it's like having four-wheel drive. You can push yourself uphill and you're just not having to use so much energy. You literally just, I'll show you, say, the technique for using your poles, but you use them to push you along, and you also give yourself, because I found if I hadn't had poles throughout the 8 weeks it took me to do the Southwest Coast Path, I probably wouldn't have done much exercise with my arms, but every day I was having to use my arms to push me along, so it just helped maintain a bit of muscle in your arms, and just takes the weight off your feet. Some of the disadvantages, obviously when they are fully extended and you've then got to go through a stile or a gate or something like a kissing gate type thing, they can be a bit cumbersome, get in the way. So usually sort of coming towards a stile, you have to put them over the fence or something before you try and climb through. So yeah, they can be a bit cumbersome like that, or you have to fold them all up and that just takes time and gets on your nerves. Another disadvantage of them, I find, is that you do look a bit of a knob, if I'm honest with you. To the uninitiated who don't understand the benefits of actually using poles, they just see you walking along with these things and think you look a bit of a knob. So if you're really ultra conscious about how you look, then yeah, maybe poles aren't for you. So, how do you use poles? What should you do? They come up, most poles are telescopic. You get some that are folding, but the better ones tend to be telescopic poles, i.e. come out like that. Well, they shouldn't actually come out like that, but they come out. Now the way to fit them is to have them, I know what measurements I use, but I'll do it that way. But the idea is that you want to, I'll extend it fully and show you. but you want your arm to be at a right angle when you've got your pole fully extended. So do that, clip it up. But that for me is usually about 120, because I'm not the tallest of individuals. So obviously make sure you do that with both, because all the poles will have, you can see, measuring guidelines on the side. So once you've done it once, then you should be able to remember what measurement you use. And so now what is really, really important is how you actually hold on to your poles. A lot of people, and I'll show you here, put the hands in the top and hold on to it like that. Now the problem with that is, first of all, you're having to hold on to the pole all day, and that actually can get quite tiring, because you physically, if you don't hold on to it, it'll sort of fall over. Yeah, so you actually got to physically hold on to grip it all day. The other problem is that if you should trip and fall, you can't actually release yourself very easily from the pole, and it will stay in your arms, and you could end up breaking your wrist because you're holding on to the pole. So the way to hold on is you always come up from the bottom of the loop. Put your hand up from the bottom, and then by doing that, what tends to happen is that these straps will then fold down between the pole and your hand, and it will pull the pole into your hand. So as soon as you rest your weight, you haven't actually really got to hold on to the pole to keep it upright. You put your hands just sort of around there, but you haven't got to grip tightly. It will hold on to the pole for you as such. But the advantage is that if you should then slip, you literally do that and you can put your hands out to save yourself. So that's how to physically hold on to the pole. So how should you walk with the pole? Well, the idea is that you want to use it for propulsion. Now you see some people going along like this, and you know, in their own way, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you walk naturally without poles, your arms will literally swing side to side, but opposite. So your right arm will swing as your left leg goes forward, and your right arm or left arm will swing as your right leg goes forward. Just have a go at walking without any poles, just to see. It's not marching as such, but give it a brisk walk, and that's how you'll walk naturally. Is you don't walk sort of rigidly like this. It's hard to do. But just walking naturally is your arms will swing. I mean, you don't have to be marching along them like that, but they will naturally swing. So the idea with the poles is use that natural swing once you've got the poles. Now what you want with the pole is you want to be pushing yourself along, so you don't want the pole dead upright in front of you, because it's no use, it's not going to do anything. It should always be behind you, and the idea is that perhaps when you take a stride forward, is that the pole is between both legs. So we'll try and walk. Trying to think about it is you won't be able to do it, but just walk naturally. Just walk naturally, and you'll find that you start doing it. It may get a bit cumbersome, and don't worry if you find yourself out of step and you start sort of doing a bit of this. Just stop for 1 second and then just walk naturally, and you soon get back into the rhythm of things. And the idea of why you don't have it out in front of you, sort of walking like this, is you're doing an awful lot of work with your arms and you're not really getting any benefit out of it, especially when you're going along on the flat. Slightly different when you're going downhill, and I'll show you that in a while. But certainly on the flat and going uphill, is you want these things behind you, pushing you along, and you don't have to put any force through it, but it will just naturally push you along, and you're using your arms. Just to help push you along. And as I say, when you're walking for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, that helps. It really does help. So the advantage of, obviously, when you're walking uphill is you can use these things to push you. Because I don't know about you, I get tired going uphill quite quickly. But when you've got some poles, they do tend, just give you that bit of impetus. This hill's not necessarily the steepest hill in the world, but even on this hill, using your hands, and this is where perhaps you can put a bit more power down through the pole with your arms, just to push you up. Now coming downhill is slightly different, especially on a steeper hill perhaps than what we're on now. But rather than having the poles behind you, you're actually going to use them out in front of you. This is where it might be a bit different, and you're going to use them as a braking system, just so sometimes you lose grip on your feet and you just need something to steady you out in front. It's where you can, if it's on quite a steep gradient, actually increase the length of your pole, because obviously if it's on very steep, it's you're going to struggle. Sometimes you're going to have to be leaning forwards otherwise. So what you do is you make your pole a bit longer, and then it'll hold out in front of you. But yeah, use them as a probe out in front of you, just to slow you down, because obviously, once again, if you've got heavy pack on you back, the momentum that creates, and it wants to send you downhill. And when you've got an awful lot of hills to climb up and down, having to use every leg muscle you've got to try and slow yourself down gets quite tiring. So if you can help yourself by having poles just to slow your progress down, that helps an awful lot. Anyway, I hope that's given you a few tips and advice, and why I think walking poles are the future, the way forward. Makes life so much easier. But maybe you think differently. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.